What's going on, everybody? And this is my lineup for the European Championship final, England versus Italy, and who I would go with. But what I will say is this game is going to come down to one thing more than anything else, and I've said it in the last video, and it's the mental toughness, the confidence, the mental belief you have in yourself and your mental state. Because the physical side of it, the fitness, the strength, everything like that, it will take care of itself come the game. But it's the build-up before the game for the players that they haven't had to deal with being in a final before for England. They've got over that semi-final barrier now. Now there's even more pressure in a final, do you know what I mean? And you've got to be in it to win it, yes, but the physical side will take care of itself. But it's harder to deal with the mental side. They're going to have doubts, they're going to have anxieties, they might even have confidence as well. It's all going to be there, so they've got to find ways of dealing with it and balancing it and getting it the right measurements in terms of balancing it out, not having too much confidence where you're complacent and you're overconfident, but also not having that doubt to the level of we're going into a game and they've won and they've beat us before we've already kicked a ball, because that can happen alone from your mental state and your mental beliefs and your confidence and your mindset. So that is what I will say. It's going to be interesting to see where we're at with that, because we have continued to prove where we're at with it during this competition, but now the finals here, this is where we got to do it. So look, physically and talent for talent, as I said before, I think we can beat Italy. I think we got a better team than they have, talent for talent. But the mental side of it is where it's going to be decided. So it's going to be interesting to see. As for my lineup, I would go with a 4-1-2-3. As always, I always want that one defensive midfielder instead of two, and that allows more freedom for another attacking player further forward. So I've gone with Pickford, and I've gone Walker, Stones, Maguire and Shaw as the back four. Walker and Shaw also acting as wing backs, but Walker always seems to stay back, to be honest. And Shaw will always bomb on more than Walker will. And then I'd have Phillips in front of the four as a defensive midfielder. He's more mobile than Rice, and I just think game for game in this tournament, he has been better than Rice. So I'd go with Phillips. And then the two in front, I would go with Foden on the right and Mount to the left. You could arguably put Henderson in for Foden, in my opinion. I was close to putting Henderson in, but Foden's younger. I think he's got more flair about him, and that bit of youth. And Henderson's won things, but he's also got that bit where he's lost a lot of stuff as well in the past, and that might affect his mentality a little bit. But I still think you could put Henderson in and still win. Do you know what I mean? But I would just prefer to go with Foden, as I just love watching him play. But I don't think he's had a great tournament, so there is a risk in that as well. And obviously Henderson, is he at fully fitness now after coming back from an injury? I think he probably is near it, if not, but I don't know. It's a little bit up in the air about that position. I would go with Foden, and I'd go with Mount on the left. I think he's pressing off the ball. He's one of the best in the team. He looks hungry to be involved, whether it's assists or scoring. And it's a shame it hasn't really happened for him yet, because he really looks like he wants to make an impact, and he's not really getting it with the, like, in terms of stats at the moment. But I think he's vital to be in the team. And then the top three, I'd have Saka on the right, Sterling on the left, and Kane in the number 9. I think Kane had his best performance in the tournament against Denmark. His hold-up play, drawing fouls, playing clever football, getting fouls at the right time in the right positions, and he looked the fittest he's looked in the tournament for me. He looked up for it, so he has to start. He's got better as the tournament's gone on. I don't know why it took him so long and why he was so slow to start, but at least he's here now. Sterling on the left, as I said, probably arguably our best player of the tournament. For me, it would be Pickford and Shaw and Sterling, but I would go with Pickford above them three. But Sterling, you can't argue with the goals he's been getting and winning us games in this tournament and showing up despite having a poor season for Man City. So Sterling is there on what he's done alone, and deserves to be. And Saka on the right, obviously, missed a game quite recently with injury, but started before that, and Gareth gave him the option to start again against Denmark, which I was pleased to see. Obviously, he got the assist with the Kjær own goal, and he's just impactful. He's obviously very young still, but he's very positive. That doubt is not in his mind, I don't think, when you watch him play. So a lot of our players have the ability to take players on, and they won't, because they've got that bit of doubt. With Saka, he's very clever and he plays very mature for someone of his age, but at the same time, he can be a bit reckless, but he gets away with it because he's got the ability to do so and keep the ball and not lose it and get an assist or something. So I love that about him, and he's very direct as well. So he's always going forward. So I love that about him. That would be my starting lineup, guys. I'd love it if Saka could get the goal if it was the winner. I feel like he deserves it for his performances when he has featured. But I'd really like to see Foden make an impact and be a game changer in this, because he's got the quality to. I just don't think he's shown it yet. He hasn't had a ton of minutes, but when he has played, I've been a bit disappointed, to be honest. But he's very young still, I know that, but he's definitely capable of better performances than he's been showing. And you could argue that Grealish should be starting, and I'm not mad at that, but I've not been impressed with him when he has played. He's featured here and there and has been involved in a few goals, but overall play when he's played, I've been a little bit disappointed. His hold-up play has been well and drawing the fouls, but in terms of just, yes, he's got an assist here and there, but I feel like he should have been getting a goal or two as well. So for me, I think the media and that behind Grealish has not helped, and we've kind of talked him up a bit too much, and that's kind of affected it a bit. But look, he could have had a lot worse impact and not get any assists or anything when he's featured. So, but I would go with Saka and Sterling as the free supporting Kane. So that would be my lineup, guys. Final on Sunday. I'm very excited, but very cautious as well, being it's Italy. But we can beat them, definitely. But I'll be back when the lineups are announced, guys, and then after, either the day of the game or the next day for the post-match thoughts. Yeah, and just my thoughts on the game. So I'll see you guys then.